Welcome to Utuntu Zamgazine Talk Show, and today we are at Riders. How are you finding this place, Tao?
It's amazing, considering how cold it is. So it's actually nice to be in a warm place
and have some warm tea.
And have some amazing tea. Yeah, they have really good tea.
I know. I find this place really calming. So today we're going to be having a very interesting conversation with Tao, our beautiful guest. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I am your host, Tisa, and today we're going to be talking about the process as well as mental health. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. I can't wait to learn. There's a lot I have for you, a lot of questions, and thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel and catch up on all the exciting interviews and conversations that we have been having. So we'll just get right into it. Why don't you tell us more about yourself? I know it's a lot.
Yeah, that's like the biggest question everybody asks. So I'm Tabo Joy Masie. I'm an economist and an auditor by profession. I'm a passionate entrepreneur. I like to venture in any projects that bring about community development. So I'm a 2017 Mandela Washington Fellow, and now I'm a managing partner for Brand Clave Marketing and Consultancy. So our main aim is just to grow brands and to help customers and companies resonate with what they are doing. So I love running.
Yes.
I love running. I love fashion. At some point I did some fashion and designing. I got it out of the way. I design jewelry. Let me just say, whatever I love, I like to go after it. And if I fail, it's good to know that I tried and I failed, or I got to do it. But in simpler terms, I'm just an adventurous person.
Yes, very adventurous. This lady can run.
I
look at her poses, like 5K. I'm like, for just.
No, I actually call it my recharge.
Okay.
You know, people drink. Some people are shopaholics. But I found running to be my recharge, and it's the cheapest. I just have to get up, go and run, come back. If I'm excited, I go for a run. If I'm upset, I go for a run. It's something that you should try. At first I used to think when you're small, it means you're healthy. No, but health comes with how active your body is, how active your mindset is. And when you mentioned about mental health, you really need to be active all the time, because every time you're in a deep place, in a dark place, there's so much that's happening. So for me, running is, my friends always say, running stops me from going to jail. So it's how I deal with anger, it's how I deal with happiness. So it really does help with me.
Okay, give that a try.
You definitely should.
I tried it. I tried running this one time, and I felt like I was going to pass out, but maybe I didn't do it right.
But that's the thing. Running teaches you how to know yourself.
Okay.
It teaches you endurance, and once you grasp that, you use it in your life. So like, I know when I start running, I can't start running fast. I run slow. So even in my personal life, I don't make fast decisions. You tell me something today, or you offend me, I don't talk in an argument. I think, and then I come back for you. So even with even when it comes to running, I've learned what my body can and cannot do, and I've learned how to talk to myself. Let's say I'm running at 21 kilometers and I'm at 16 kilometers. I have to tell myself, you can do it.
Wait, did you just say 21?
Yes. I said it with the 3, I said it with the 5. So you learn how to talk to yourself. You have to be your best cheerleader, because there are days when no one is going to tell you look beautiful. So you have to wake up every morning and look in the mirror. No matter how bad you feel, you say, good morning, you're beautiful. And if you can't believe that yourself, even any other person who's going to tell it to you, you're not going to believe it. So it starts from here. It starts from building yourself and learning how to handle yourself before you can let other people handle you.
Yeah, that is nice. So you heard it. Wake up and say good morning. You're
and
beautiful.
tell yourself you love yourself. Yeah, we wait for affection from other people, and yet we don't give it to ourselves. And one thing you have to understand is you pour out what you're full of. So if you don't take the time to build yourself, you can't build somebody else, because in the first place you don't believe you can build another person if you can't build yourself. Yeah,
that is true. Wow. I should have had a pen for that. So, and you've talked about so many things, and it's like yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of interesting things, and talking of like the process and trying to figure things out. So how did you know where to start from or where to be? Like, you said fashion, there's the jewelry, there's school as well. So then how did all that fit in, like when starting out? How did you work around it all?
I actually didn't know what I was doing. People think you need to figure out life to succeed. No, you just need to try. So when I was growing up, I wanted to be a lawyer and a fashion designer. So when I graduated, I figured I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. I want to be a fashion designer. So my father told me, you can't study something that you already know. You have to study what you don't know. Because my mother used to be a fashion designer / a nurse, and we learned how to sew through her. So she told me, why would you want to waste your time to go to school and study something that you already know? Go and study something else. So I did economics in Uganda, and while I was there, I would come home for holidays trying to look for internship, and I couldn't find internship. So I said, you know what, if internship is so hard, how about getting a job? So I said, okay, let me teach myself something. So I went on YouTube, I taught myself how to make jewelry. And so every time I'd come back to Zambia, I would sell the jewelry and make income. I'll be very honest, I never felt the urge of unemployment because I had constant money coming in. And that's how our parents raised us. My father would support any business idea. And to be honest with you, some of them were useless, but he needed you to believe that you can create something and make something out of it. So he would always support you. So we've all grown up as entrepreneurs with an entrepreneur mindset of not being a job seeker, but a job creator. So even when I started my jewelry business, I came back to Zambia full time. I registered the business. I started selling my jewelry, and within a short period of time, I was hired by PricewaterhouseCoopers. I was an auditor there. I worked there for about 3 years, but the audit life is a different type of life for an adventurous person. Because you're in the office in the morning, you leave in the evening. But then I wanted to do more. Like I said, I'm passionate about community work. So I heard about the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I applied, but something they were looking for is somebody who's making a difference in their community. So you see, you find yourself in a certain place and you realize you need to be a different person to fit in. So I said I need to do community work. So I started doing work with the women in prison. I used my skill because I could make jewelry. So I went to the prisons and I taught them how to make jewelry.
In Lusaka?
In Lusaka.
Okay.
So we used recycled material because one thing you need to understand is when a prisoner leaves the prison, they don't have capital. So we said, let's pick empty bottles, let's use boxes and turn trash into treasure. So that's what what we called our project. So it was more of making to reduce the level of recidivism, that's prisoners going back to prison, because when they leave prison, some would find their husbands are remarried, people don't accept you, people never look at you the same. And so that was the debate around it, to say we want people to visit people in prison. They need to see your progress in order to accept you when you leave prison. So after I did that project, another organization called me and said, let's teach jewelry to young kids. So I worked with Jedediah Learning Steps and Coupe's Young Women's Network, which you are part of.
Yes, I saw that.
So we trained a couple of girls how to make jewelry, and then we called it same, turning trash into treasure, but this time we could use even beads like what you're wearing, because now they needed to make income. And we're so proud because some of them were even able to export to as far as USA, and they could pay their school fees. So the main aim of that project was to keep them in school, because when they don't pay their school fees, they would marry them off. So that kept them in school. So it's step-by-step training, growing yourself into the next person that you need to be. So I had now community experience, and so when I applied for the Mandela Washington Fellowship, I made it because I was someone who's making a difference in her community. And one thing I have learned, and you can cut me short because I talk too much.
No, go on.
And one thing I have learned about community work is, don't do it for people, but somebody will watch you and somebody will see you. So while I was doing all my community work, I just heard, no, Zona Zambia wants to award you. I said, for what? They said, no, we're awarding you for being a young female entrepreneur making a difference in her community. So I got that title, something I didn't see coming, and it motivated me. So even after I came back from the Mandela Washington Fellowship, I joined radio, I worked for somebody else, but deep down I always knew I want to run something for myself. I want to run a company that brings positive impact. And so that's how Brand Clave came up.
What does that mean, pause?
I like how you're saying pause. So Brand Clave, we are a service-oriented organization or marketing firm. We want to grow brands, and it's about understanding behavioral change and also understanding design thinking process. Like typical example, most designers design things that they like and not what the customer wants.
Yes.
So it's about me understanding what drives you as an individual, what makes you buy a blue jacket and not a green jacket. So it's about behavioral change. And then I'll try and see who in your circle influences what you wear. So let's say, for lack of better examples, let's say maybe the what's her name, Mwanza, influences your dress code. So I will attack her and I'll make sure I design something that you're going to buy. So it's about understanding your clients and being able to resonate around them and creating a brand that if it's out there, you can tell this is this brand and this is what they do. It's like personal branding. I'm sure you know certain people who, when you ask, who is she? They'll always tell you 3 things that resonate. Different people tell you, no, she's this, she's this, she's this. So you've created a personal brand, and that's what we want companies to be. Don't be a 99 jobs type of person. You know, there's certain companies when you ask them, what do you do? No, we make tires, we make clothes, we make what?
We make
like,
tissue.
but what
There's
do you
food.
do? Yes. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what we do.
Okay, so back to where we were. So now you work for people, and now you started your own company. So all along, it was, from what I have learned, it's a matter of becoming the next person and just learning through it all. Okay, it's been interesting.
I think with life, I believe your 20s are a time that you discover yourself, and in your 20s you're allowed to fail, but in your 30s you now start to live what you learned in your 20s. So like if you're 20 years old, if you're below 30 years old, if you want to run, try out running. If you want to be a fashion designer, try it out. If you want to be a pastor, try it out. It's your time to try out things. It's called trying and not mistakes. But when you get to your 30s, your 40s, you've done away with that. Don't be a 50-year-old in a club. Where were you? Like, where were you? Everything has time. But one thing that has helped me is being able to run my own race. I don't look at somebody else's success as my failure. I look at it for inspiration. But also, I know where I want to go. So it doesn't mean when there are certain people where you meet them today, you tell me a makeup artist. I want to be a makeup artist too. You meet them again, I'm a fashion designer. I want to be a makeup. So that's lack of having a vision and a race. And when you have a race, even when you fail, you evaluate what made you fail and you work on those things. So for me, it's worked for me. Like, I've learned how to cheer myself up. I've learned how to accept, to say, like I told you earlier, to say I stopped fashion and designing. It was my dream. I lived it. I am tired of it. And you have to be real with yourself. I wasn't making profits. It was a good name to be a fashion designer, but I wasn't growing. And for me, my main aim in life is to grow. So if it's not working for me, I tried it. At least I will never be on my deathbed and say, I wish I was a fashion designer. Yes, so exactly so it's about that, and it's totally worked for me.
That is awesome. So we're gonna go on a short break, and we'll pick up this conversation soon after. Welcome back, and we're going to pick it up from where we left. So we're talking about the process. and how Towel has just been doing all these amazing things and that she's been good at and has stopped on the fashion. I'm still touched about that.
I can tell you're very touched on the fashion.
I'm touched, right? Wow, we're grateful. So many lessons to be learned. And just one last one on the process. Were there ever moments where you doubted, like, okay, I'm stopping fashion, and you're just doubting, like, should I really stop? And you have all these people, because obviously there were clients that you already had who really loved your work. And even with work, you're good at it. There are people like, but why? Why are you stopping? So were there ever those moments where you actually doubted, like, is this the right thing to do? Is this the right move? And
Yes.
how did you overcome them?
I think failure is part of success.
Yeah.
And it's not how many times you fall, but how many times you get up that gets you to where you want to be. I have had times when I've told myself I can't do this, but I think my greatest tool is self-love and learning how to be my best cheerleader. I think it's made me get through a lot of things. And one thing that I would advise any young person out there is to have a vision board. You need to know where you want to go. And once you say in the next 5 years, I want to be this, then come down to in the next 4 months, in the next 2 months, in the next week, in today, what am I going to do? Because we are so good at planning 5 years and not planning today. So I have failed, and then I realized I need to plan my daily moves. So like every Sunday I sit down and I plan my week. I monitor my progress. I always say you can be productive and not be tired, or you can be tired but not be productive.
Yeah.
So that's something that people actually need to understand. And even the times that I have failed and sat down to say, okay, I haven't done this well, I've learned how to pick myself up and just to go around it and see what can I do better.
Yeah.
Like let's say for when it comes to business, why am I passionate about growing businesses? Before, when I was just a fashion designer, I used to make things that I loved and expected my customers to love them.
Yeah.
But when I went to the Mandela Washington Fellowship, I went under the business and entrepreneurship track. So I went to Dartmouth College in USA in Hanover, and I learned something about design thinking process.
Yeah.
I learned why it's important to have a prototype, to have market research, to talk to your customers. A lot of people think entrepreneurship is hard, but no. We bring a product to the client, and not the prototype, but you bring the final product. And when that fails, you crash down and you say, I have failed. No, you haven't failed. You just haven't designed it for anyone. You designed it for yourself.
Yeah.
Like let's say if I made a cup that talks, it sounds nice, but do you really need a cup that talks back at you? When you sit down, you want to have a quiet moment, you want to have tea. So I learned to say, if I'm going to grow a business, I have to have a target audience. But that target audience, I need to understand what their needs are and not their wants. Because once I satisfy your needs, you always need me. Like food, you will always need food. You will always need water.
Yeah.
So you have to think around things that work. So even when you fail, you need to sit and first accept that you have failed. But I don't call it failure, I call it a lesson. I've learned this didn't work. How can I do better? Another thing is having a mentor in your life has really helped me. So I have a personal mentor. I have a mentor who I do when it comes to business. I go and talk to them. And these are not people who are running different things. They are people who are doing what I want to be.
Yeah.
So their mistakes are my lessons. So you need to have someone to talk to, and you need to understand that you can't build something on your own. I know people want to come out all the glory alone and everything. No, but you need a mentor. You need somebody who can guide you so you don't make the same mistakes that they made. It reduces how many steps you have to take to succeed. Yeah. I guess
true.
that would be my takeaway on that.
That's my takeaway too. We talk mentorship after this.
Not a problem.
I've been every time we're couples, I'm always saying, I'll call you.
Yeah, and that's something young people don't value is being a volunteer in certain organizations, because now people are hiring skill. They want to see how do you apply yourself around people in difficult situations. You find that you're always alone. You've never encountered a difficult situation, so you can't answer such a question.
Yeah.
So it's about understanding things around them. Yeah.
That is awesome. So you also talked about struggles and failures, and what I've come to realize from interacting with people my age, people who are within school, is that most of the times I'll give an example of employment. They come out of, because then you know how it is when you're in uni. It's like, after this, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna get a house, and there's all these fantasies in our heads and all these ideas. But then when you come out, it's not the same. And for some people, they take it hard. They think life is now hard. It's like they tend to be depressed.
Yes.
Yeah. So then, what I know you do with mental health, right? And just a few pointers on how we can take care of ourselves when it comes to growth and just trying to figure things out, and just how well can you handle your mental state.
I like that you brought up mental health, because it's something that we don't value in Africa in general. We don't value counseling. We don't value when a man pulls out, it means he's weak. Some women go like, can you imagine he cried? And I'm like, wow, I want somebody who cries, because then they're able to express themselves. So mental health, I've had my depressing moments, and it comes with me sharing them with people, and then you get to understand you're human at the end of the day. They say depressed people are the ones who smile the most. They say take care of your friends who are always making you happy, because we go through that. But one thing that depression does, it stops you from growing. You'll be stuck in one place, and depression has killed a lot of, most people have committed suicide and the like. But one thing I'll bring you back to about not feeling depressed is having a plan for your life, and understanding that just because we're in the same class and we graduated together, it doesn't mean when you get a job I'll also get a job. No. So once you understand to say your success is not my failure, you'll be able to have a plan to say, this is where I want to be, this is where I want to go. I hear a lot of people say, I want to buy a car, I want to own a house. Then I'll just ask you, just today, what have you done to buy the car? Nothing. You're always chilling. You're always spending money. You want to buy long hair, expensive things. So to be honest, realistically speaking, you're not doing anything to get to where you want to be. And a lot of people who think they are failing, they haven't sat down to evaluate what they are doing. You need to have a me-to-me talk. Like, you need to sit down with yourself and tell self, today, what have you done? Like, how much money have you made? And if you're going to get to where you want to be, what steps have you taken? So once you have that talk with yourself, then now you're going to plan your day. When people call you for lunch, you tell them, no, I haven't made any money today. I don't have money for lunch. Like, for example, running a business is not so hard. You just have to be financially disciplined. And I appreciate that I have an audit background. I have an economics background. Some people joke and say losses are stingy. So I'm also proud that I'm lousy, because then there's a stingy aspect in me. I don't spend money I don't have. And there's a rule that says, don't spend today on money you're expecting tomorrow. You don't have that money. You have people come to you and say, buy this bag, pay me at month end. No, you can't afford it. If you can't afford it today, you can't afford it then. So be financially disciplined. Even if you're running a business, have a salary. And when you're broke, you're broke. The company can have money in their account. It's not your money. It's the company's money. Sometimes I even write to myself a letter to ask for money, because I need to keep records. So I'm going to borrow this amount of money from my company, and I have to put it back. So it's about being financially disciplined, understanding what you can and you cannot do, and don't live a life you can't afford. And don't be ashamed to say, I can't come for tea, I don't have money.
Life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always say, have multiple sources of income, and your boyfriend is not a source of income.
Which boyfriend?
Or your husband. No. It's about you creating. I know girls don't like that. It's like when you go out, you need to evaluate yourself. You need to be able to pay for yourself. Let somebody come and help you, but don't depend on other people.
Yeah, that is true. The soft life.
Yeah, so just be your own boss, be in charge of your life, be disciplined. It really, really helps.
Okay. And you mentioned something earlier about the project that you're doing with mental health. And before we get to that, so just want to, from your experience and growing up here in Africa, in Zambia, there's this thing that goes on about men and how there's so many sayings that encourage them to suppress their feelings, like a man shouldn't cry. And like, what do you have to say about that?
I think the same way we talk about cervical cancer, this month is for cervical cancer, we need to talk about mental health like that. We celebrate so much, and yet we don't celebrate that one thing that makes somebody function well. If your mental health is not in a good state, you can't be a good partner to to your, be it your wife or your husband, even your children. Most children suffer mental health based on what they experience with their parents. So it's something that is passed on. So if you as a mother, you don't deal with it, your kids will deal with it. So we need to normalize conversations around mental health. We need to have a platform where somebody can say, I have failed, I'm a man, I have failed, I'm going through this, I'm going through a heartbreak. But don't let people bubble up so they can come out all victorious and you think, oh, he's strong. No, being strong is actually opening up and saying, listen, I have failed, or listen, this is what I'm going through. So we need to create an open platform where people are free to talk about mental health and don't laugh at them. And something that people don't value is also counseling. You hear people saying black people don't go for counseling, and yet the highest number of suicide cases, we have them, it's us, and mostly it's men. The highest number of percentage in suicide, it's men.
Yes.
Women, we cry about it, we even make fake posters on Facebook, but that's how we express
And the
ourselves.
video.
Yeah, you start posting to my certain quotes.
Yes.
Yeah, so you know she's going through something, but we heal like that. You call your friends,
Jesus
you
is the
cry.
love of my life.
He's the only man I need.
He's the only man I love.
Yeah, so, but then you realize that women have it easy.
Yeah.
So let's make it easy for men as well. If they have to cry, let them cry. But don't look down on somebody who breaks down, because there's somebody out there who's going through depression. But if you make it seem like going through depression is a weakness, then you've lost them just like that.
Yeah, that is so true. People tend to look down on men, even just crying. But why was you crying? Like, sober up and just be strong. Like, yeah, it's very important, I think, to have safe spaces where men could also actually just open up. And which reminds me, we also have an interview with Microphone 7 and Mr. Chikotoya, where they actually get the men's voice on mental health, which is, we should look out for it. It's really, really.
But I think it's we should stop grouping ourselves, women, men.
Okay.
We need to come together and talk.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
men can talk to men, but men can't talk to women. So I always feel like
Yes,
we're still
that
not
is
solving
true.
the
That
issue.
is true.
We need to come together. Like if we have questions for men, let's ask them. But what we don't want is, we want them to feel comfortable around women to cry.
Okay.
It's not a weakness. It's strength for you to reach a point where you can express yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that.
I think it would be an
We should
interesting
do that.
chat.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely
yes.
would be.
We should do that, and you have to be on it as well.
I'll definitely be there.
We should. You heard it. We're gonna make a plan for it and just have one conversation. We'll pick a venue and just sit down, both men and women, and talk about mental health and just ways in which we could just be free to just express ourselves, especially men. I think for women, the group that I know or I've heard of that tends to suppress is the married ones, because then I've come to hear so many stories and see where they say when you're married and you're going through like toxic relationships and you just have to bottle it all up. They have to be, especially moms, they have to be strong.
I think things are changing.
Yeah.
A long time ago, like me, I thought my parents had the perfect marriage. I got to learn about other things as I grew up. The mothers a long time never expressed themselves, but women now, things have changed. Girls are now able to express themselves, be it on social media. They're now going for counseling. A long time, remember, a man was a provider, so the woman was always at home. She was sweeping, taking care of the house, cleaning and everything. But now it's different. We have women who are the breadwinners of their families, so they have a voice. But then we don't want to create such a situation where we're trying to say, okay, man is this, a woman is this. We're just trying to create a situation where we appreciate mental health and we get to say even men go through things. And girls, we have this victim mentality. Why did he do this? Why did she do this? But then you ask them to say, but have you sat down to ask yourself, there was something that you did that people react to what you do. But then we never look at that. It's always, he did this to me, he is this, he is this. So we need to get, that's why I always say self-evaluation is important.
Yes.
Would you want to meet you? Like, would you date you? Like, you're ever praying for a nice person. So you ask yourself, would you ever date yourself?
cars.
Yeah. No, I want a man with money. Like, do you have money? Yes. So you think about all those things, and then you try and create a better person. And that's why I say being single is like the best moment of your life, because you get to reconvene, you get to talk to yourself, you get to learn more about yourself. A lot of people who don't know themselves find themselves in situations they can't even explain. Like, I know myself, I'm not gonna do that, so I won't do it. But if you easily, what you call it in Bemba, at
You're going
anything that happens, you're there, you're there. You find you date this guy, he loves Man U, you're a Manchester United fan. You meet a Chelsea fan, yeah. So you see, and even when that's why it's so hard to leave certain relationships, because your whole world was built around them.
Yeah.
But for me, like, if I were to speak for myself, even if I broke up with someone today, I have a business to run. I have something to do. If anything, I very much appreciate Adele, the musician.
Yeah.
There's a lot of businesses that you can build from a broken heart. Your brain just opens up, and you tell yourself, you know what, I can't deal with this now. I need to focus on me. And you need to have a life, no matter. When you come together as your partner, he had a life, you had a life. So don't be that person of, where are you? Why are you doing this? No.
Who are you with?
Who are you with? Send me a picture. Like,
Video call.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to have a personal life, and he needs to have a personal life, and then you come together at some point. And most relationships like that work, where you say, today I want to have some me time, and the person understands. Like, Sundays are my me time. Even when I'm in a relationship, I'll say my Sunday is my me time. I like to read, and I like to plan for my week. So I need you to understand. I don't want you to think I'm somewhere else. No. So you look for a partner who understands you, and if the person can't understand you, then don't force it. Don't expect them to adjust in the future.
At our hotspot you the love.
Exactly. So run your own race, love yourself, understand yourself.
That's awesome. That is awesome. It has been great.
No, thank you.
I have
Thank
enjoyed.
you so
We
much.
should do this again.
No, we definitely should. I look forward to the one with the guys.
Yes,
I
we
really want
need to plan
be
for
there.
that. And if you want to be part of it, it's very serious. If you want to be part of it, we could actually even do it next week.
Yes.
So if you want to be part of the conversation concerning mental health, we're gonna have a sit down. We're gonna sit
hot
down.
table.
A hot table. Hot table, and just sit and openly discuss what you think would make the situation better. That is the whole point, to have a conversation where we make things better. We make it. We teach people as well from our different experiences. Get in touch with us. We're going to put our number there. You can get in touch with us through our social media platforms, and let us know what you think, or anything that you'd like us to add on concerning mental health, and how to just change the attitude surrounding it. And from us, it is, you say, Atishania Po.
I have to what? Atishania Po. Okay.
So from us, it's Atishania Po. Thank you. We're here at the couple. As you can see, it's getting busier now. The outside is officially open. And so we're still talking about mental health, and we're talking about the issues and the challenges surrounding men's mental health. And we just thought it's important to openly talk about these things, because they are real.
Yeah.
People do go through challenges. Men too go through challenges. And we just started out with the men's, but we'll also talk about women, and next week we're going to have women talking about their issues as well.
Yeah.
Places where they could go, their experiences.
Yeah.
So today it has been amazing. We have had Mr. Chipontwe, who runs, or rather manages, Serenity Wellness Center, and he'll just give us a little bit more information about that and what they do.
Okay, so Serenity is a mental health institution where we journey. I avoid the word help.
Yeah.
But we journey with people who struggle with various like areas of mental health disorders.
Yeah.
So these range from alcohol and drug addiction to depression, trauma, suicide, anxiety, anger management, couple counseling. We actually also offer services to companies. How can you help your employees to manage their wellness? Because mental health, especially since we've been discussing mental health for men, mental health itself can be a cost to a business. If you have a man or men who are not mentally fit, productivity will plummet. And if productivity goes down, profitability will also be affected. So we offer services around those areas. So the services can be summarized as preventative, where we do sensitization, we do talks. Then we have the treatment, where we do assessment, counseling or therapy as we call it, as well as residential rehabilitation, where we take someone into a residence for a number of months or days, especially for substance addiction. So precisely that's what we do.
Alright. And we also have Commander 7, Microphone 7, Kaluva, who has joined us to just share his experience concerning mental health. And so any words that you'd like to just put it out there for someone, a young man who's processing life and just trying to get it together?
Yeah, I think for me, simply put, would just be that as young people, as young men, as young women, we need to be more open with what we're going through, what we are feeling, be honest with that, and just have the conversation.
Okay, that was interesting. Though I remembered one thing, when they say Mamuna Samarila.
No, we cry. We actually cry hard. It's just that you don't see you don't see it, but we cry.
But actually it's a cultural concept, and it's deep rooted in men. That you are not allowed to show your emotions in public. And it's actually one of those issues that we need to demystify. Men do experience emotions. Men do cry. Men need to cry, because as you cry, you sort of let go of certain emotions. So if it can help to go into the shower and cry, if it can help to go into the stadium or in the grounds.
It's very, very, very important.
Find a way of letting go. Or letting off steam, if it means a punching bag,
gym,
of course, gym, sports. Those are ways in which someone can, cope positively with mental health challenges.
Okay, and just before we close, I'd like to find out what are the ways or what are the things that people around us can do or what we can do to make it easier for men to open up, or for people going through depression to open up. What are some of the things that one can do?
I think that for any, whether male or female, I think that the first thing one can do is understand that they need an outlet. The more that you bottle things in, the worse the ending, the end result of everything that you bottle in will be bad. Like you said about the Coca-Cola bottle, you keep putting things in, and so for women it's easier because you have best friends, bestie, look, he broke my heart, what, my mom shouted at me and all that stuff. But for guys it's a bit like like we're a bit too like I'll handle this by myself.
Got this.
And so we need to reach a point where we are able to understand that getting help is not a weakness. And so once you understand that, it helps you let out, like it helps you find an outlet for the pain that you're going through. Okay.
I mean, people say therapy is for white people. I remember at school there's a counseling center. There was at school there is. I was at Unza. Yes.
I know, it's true.
So there's a counseling center, and most of the times when spirits hard, I would go there. or I'm going through something, I'll go there. But then I would have even both male and female friends be like, why are you going there? That is like, that's for white people. So just from you, what are the other things that we can do to make people aware that there are such spaces where they can go and just get help? Oh, you didn't say get help. It's not a good word. Where you can journey together and work through things out.
Yeah, I think if there are institutions out there that journey or that help people with mental health conditions, we need to come out more. Yeah. And I think I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for bringing me on board, because this is a way people can know that we exist. You know, we need to use spaces like churches, community institutions like clubs, to sensitize people that help is there. You know, as well as an individual, know your boiling point. You know, you need to understand at what point do I break, and once you understand that point, accept in case you feel depressed. The first point actually to healing is acceptance. Once you accept, then you can think of where do I need help? Do I have enough resources as an individual to deal with the situation, or I need help? You know, and let's learn to acknowledge that the same way we have doctors to treat physical conditions or diseases, they are also experts in mental health. You know, and if you just went to Google, you definitely find quite a number of people who can help you, professionals, you know, who can help you with mental health conditions, as well as begin to identify the signs. How do I know that I'm actually undergoing a mental health condition? When you begin to overeat, when you begin to oversleep, when you use the snap, you know, when you begin to lose interest in daily activities, you know, when you begin to lose interest in your values. You know, he mentioned that as a Christian, you begin to feel no need to pray or to attend church. When you begin to shun away from your circle, and when you begin to indulge more in substance abuse, recognize that I think something is wrong with my mental health condition. So once you recognize, then seek help.
Thank you very, very much. I've learned a lot. I've learned that men cry too.
Men cry too.
And they go through things too. So it has been a very interesting conversation, and this is only the start, and I hope people out there have learned as much as I have learned, and people get to open up and find safe spaces where they can actually get someone that they can walk with on this journey. And it's very encouraging to see someone who's going through something hard and just come out here and say, look, it's possible, you can get past it. Take your time, get people around you to support you, and it's possible to actually get well again. So it's been very nice. The coffee has been nice also. We should do this again.
Definitely.
And I would also recommend, I mean, if you're going through something, Decapo is a nice place to come.
You know, the hot chocolate is, you know.
The environment is coming.
It's therapeutic. You can write your problems down on the wall or something.
If there are not too many, but yes. It's been amazing. And well, join us on next week. We're going to be having women as well to talk about mental health. You should tune in.
Definitely.
Sorry. They kept on saying that was going to happen.
Our biggest fear.
So I'll just go to Serenity to process this that happened right now. So sorry about that. So you can follow us on Facebook, on Tuntu Zamgazine, as well as YouTube and Instagram. Feel free to reach out in case you'd like to feature or you have any topics that you'd like us to cover. We're also looking for other beautiful places. Today we're at the couple. It's very, very beautiful. The coffee is amazing. The service is amazing. It has been great, and I hope we shoot here again soon. So if you have any questions about Serenity, if you have any questions or you'd like to reach out to Microphone 7, please do. He's more than willing to. Young men out there, he is more than
especially
willing.
men only.
Yes.
The young men only.
Men, please, men. So feel free, get in touch with us. Our information will be put out there. You can reach us on our Facebook, Instagram, as well as follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and it has been great. Thank you very much. And from us, I'm going to require everyone to shout at Shania.
At Shania?
Yeah,
Okay.
So from us, it's bye and at Shania po. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nini kule, nyandara ya uya na kuya tena.